Hi guys, I'm Mike.
And I'm Stephen.
And this is F1 Fanatics. Welcome back to the F1 Podcast. Your place where you can listen to two blokes talk about F1 for a little bit. And hopefully you guys enjoy sitting around listening to it. If you don't, tough luck.
See ya!
This is what we do. Bye! Bye!
But don't forget to like, subscribe and ding that bell before you leave.
Of course, because it helps. We're close to 1,500, 17 off that. So if you can help us to that, that'd be cool. That'd be, fun for you to do that. But anyway, F1 Podcast. Basically, usually talk about the main topic, which is usually a race. So this week we are obviously previewing the Portimao GP. Going to be very cool, I think, to go to this track. It looks a very good track in simulations and onboards I've seen of kind of cars that haven't been F1 for F1's first time here, of course. So we'll look ahead to the action and which one of Lewis Hamilton's cars will win. I mean Lewis Hamilton to win. And then we'll have Jonty's question, talk about some of the rumours that have kind of been going around.
Stephen's rumours!
Yep, that thing, and then we'll probably just round it off. But yeah, that's, if you haven't watched the F1 podcast, Stephen isn't just weird. I mean, we are. But that's been a thing.
I haven't been weird at all this podcast.
Okay. But yeah, let's jump in to the preview of the race. Are you looking forward to this weekend?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Never seen a race there before, so how can you not be looking forward to it?
Yeah. I think you'd have to be the most pessimistic F1 fan to go, it's going to be boring. We haven't seen anything. We don't know. Look at Mugello. I know Mugello. But Mugello had plenty of excitement.
The new tracks, we haven't raced on Mugello before, but also the Nürburgring. Mugello was great because of the carnage. Nürburgring actually has some great racing.
It was great because of the racing.
And so it should be great, even though we haven't raced it before.
Elevation challenges, undulating track. It looks kind of, there's a couple of overtaking points, clear ones in there. So, very excited, I think, as the possibility of a track for this weekend's race.
I saw a nickname for it being the roller coaster.
Oh, sorry, that's Stephen's rumours.
You didn't even do the hand movement as well.
Whoa! Right, roller coaster. That's cool.
Yeah. So I presume it's quite up and downy, side to side.
Like a roller coaster.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh dear. But yes, action. Can you see past Lewis Hamilton breaking Michael Schumacher's record this weekend?
Can you see past it?
Yeah, as in, can you see anyone stopping the mighty Lewis Hamilton? Rap star as well. That was what he was doing this week. He was releasing some music.
Well, he was testing it, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He hasn't released anything.
Talking about heartbreak, Nicole. Talking about drinking too much, naughty boy Lewis. Talking about having friends that are females.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what he was doing, and obviously in a polite and well-managed way with his music. Sounded very auto-tuney from what I heard.
Fair enough.
Hey, it's another thing for Lewis to kind of express his freedom, and it's cool. It must be very nerve-wracking putting himself out there because he knows that he's an amazing F1 driver.
Yeah.
So he gets in the car, doesn't care. Where music, it's a bit like, people are gonna laugh at me. But I think everyone thinks it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I've only seen positive responses.
Yeah,
there's negative ones out there.
On track. Any possibility.
We saw Bottas last week have some fight in him, and then he still screwed it up, and they got unlucky, as he usually does. But I can't. I can't see Bottas winning it, but I can see Max.
Yeah.
Over there. On the podium. The top spot of the podium.
Oh, okay. Yeah, cool. Maybe. Max,
I'm not sure if they've got any upgrades coming in.
Max, for me, is the only one who possibly could do it. Yeah, but I don't know. I think Lewis, with the car and his ability to learn and adapt his driving style to different tracks, I think definitely plays into his hand this weekend at a new track that they've never driven before.
Yeah.
So I think everything would suggest that, but then obviously, we could be in a situation where Lewis gets a grid penalty or has something.
I think he has to get unlucky to. Something has to happen to him for him not to win. Yeah.
Maybe more interestingly, do we have another non-Mercedes Red Bull podium?
So will Daniel Ricciardo get a podium?
Yes, that's why I'm going. Will Daniel Ricciardo make it back-to-back podiums for Renault?
Could do.
Or will Sergio Perez finally get his podium? Will it be Checo's time?
Maybe. I don't know where McLaren are. I always say it. We just don't know. Renault looking very good. They seem like they're getting the whole package together with the downforce and the engine power. Which should suit the Algarve, but it could happen. But I don't think I know.
Okay,
no. If Lewis, Bottas, and Max all finish, then Ricciardo doesn't get a podium.
Okay, but so you're backing him to finish best of the rest?
Yes, fourth.
I think Daniel Ricciardo just is in that form. The podium emphasises that he'll be driving on a high. I can see Daniel Ricciardo being best of the rest.
Yeah.
In terms of that. Yeah, I think you're right. McLaren's an interesting one. I'm not really sure. It is interesting because we can't really go, oh, well, last year this happened or let's say it is a completely new and open book. But Roman Grosjean to podium?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. But that is the other interesting. Alpha, Ferraris, Haas, Williams, unfortunately, have fallen behind. Where are those guys going to fall into it? AlphaTauri, will they get in the mix with the McLarens again with Pierre Gasly?
Well, yeah, on McLaren's current form, yeah, definitely.
But theoretically, Lando Norris would have finished very well last week if he didn't have that power issue.
Yes, yeah.
So I think in the hands of it depends suiting, and obviously it's he's very close to Spain. Carlos Sainz did very well in Spain, so he might do well in the Algarve.
Close to Spain.
But exactly, they're neighbouring countries. So by the logic and the theory of it, Carlos Sainz will do well.
There we go. It's basically a home Grand Prix for Carlos Sainz.
Spain versus Portugal rivalry, he might not want to do well there.
Sometimes they've been friends. Sometimes not so friendly.
Okay.
Other times they do mind each other.
And that is the history of the relations between Spain and Portugal for you there. We hope you enjoyed it. But yeah, I think mainly the preview is we're excited. We don't know what's really going to happen other than assuming Lewis will win.
Yes. On current form, Lewis wins, Ricciardo best of the rest, and AlphaTauri challenger McLaren.
Nice.
Further down, Ferrari made some progress, but they still look very slow race pace wise.
Leclerc might challenge for points, but there were a lot of retirements and high and points finisher retirements.
Yes, yeah.
So that also played into effect. So I can't see a Ferrari powered car scoring points this weekend.
No. Whoa. I say Leclerc nicks a point, P10.
Okay, cool. I say no. So that'll be an interesting one to see how it goes back. But is that probably it for the preview? I mean,
there's not much to say on it, really.
No.
Yeah. Our thoughts on a Grand Prix, we have no idea what's going to throw it.
Yeah, the intrigue isn't necessarily. I suppose third in constructors is the most intriguing one. Who will get that racing point moved up to third?
Yep.
Their last one. Will they lead by the end of the weekend?
I don't know how far Renault are behind.
I think Renault were fairly, behind just because they had a poor start and Ocon isn't necessarily contributing.
Yeah, out of the 3 teams, Renault got the worst second driver.
Yeah.
So, yeah. McLaren got 2 podiums. Racing Point got a podium, and so Renault's podium last race out didn't actually massively improve their chances. They'll be really disappointed at 5th. It'd be a surprise.
But they should be.
Disappointed, yeah.
Right. So preview done. That means we move on to Jonty's question of the week. And it is a great question of the week. The question was, I don't actually have that up because I've got the stats up. But it was something along the lines of, there have been many great performances in the rain in F1's history.
Oh, we're going to have rain this weekend?
But who was the best? No. If you didn't get rain in Nürburgring, we're not going to get rain here. We got like spits in Nürburgring, didn't we? But anyway, our candidates that have been put forward to us.
Who's best in the West?
So who's best in the West? Where? Or which West?
Who's best in the West?
Okay, we've got 5 races. We've got to pick the best race out of these 5.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So we've got Ayrton Senna, 1993 European GP, Donington.
So Donington.
Started a grid, first lap, ended first, and it was just a great performance as well.
Check out the classic race review if you want to know more.
Absolutely. It was a brilliant race. Notable moments, 5th place to 1st on the opening lap, won by over 1 minute and 20 seconds, made 6 visits to the pits.
Yeah.
And that race had the most pit stops in the history of F1.
Yeah.
In that race. Don't think it's been beaten yet. 2nd, Michael Schumacher's first victory for Ferrari, the Spanish Grand Prix. Started on 3rd, finished 1st. Notable moments, first victory for Ferrari, like I said, regarded as his greatest ever drive, only 6 finishes in the race.
Wow.
3, Jackie Stewart, 1968 German Grand Prix, grid 6th, finished 1st. Notable moments, winning by over 4 minutes, regarded by the man himself as his greatest race. There's a common theme going here. Actually, though, Senna considers 1985 Estoril to be a better race than the 1993 European GP. But
it doesn't make Jonty's list.
Doesn't make Jonty's list. Okay then. Held during the fateful season of the death of Jim Clark, Stewart famously said that after passing the checkered flag and stopping, is everyone okay due to concern for fellow drivers? Because, well, let's be honest, F1 at that time was a time where death wasn't an unfamiliar event, unfortunately. 4, Lewis Hamilton, 2008 British Grand Prix, another one of the classic race reviews. Great performance in the rain. Started 4th, finished 1st. Notable moments. It was his first British Grand Prix win, won by over a minute from Nick Heidfeld. Hamilton's championship winning year, last win from McLaren at Silverstone. I didn't know that, actually. Really? Has it been that far since McLaren won at Silverstone? That's mental.
That is mental, actually.
Considering they have JB and Lewis.
It makes sense.
It does. Wow, yeah, that's crazy. I've forgotten about that. And then number 5, Sebastian Vettel. We saw the 2nd win for Toro Rosso at this track this season, but the first win was by Sebastian Vettel in a Toro Rosso 2008 Italian Grand Prix. Started 1st, finished 1st. His notable moments in this was it was the first Toro Rosso win, like we said. First win for a driver for Sebastian. Led every lap. Pole and win, youngest winner at the time in the history of Formula 1.
Pretty incredible.
Yep. Right. So you've heard the candidates.
I've heard the candidates.
Which one's going to be your best?
Now, I'm going to have to go on pure personal. That I've actually watched the race. So that narrows it down to 3. The Donington, Lewis and Vettel one. I think I'm just going to go Senna. That was an incredible drive from him. 6 pit stops, always on the right tyre. Didn't put a
Well, he made tyres last better in that race than anybody else could. Prost always went on the kind of cautious
Very
element
safe,
there.
yeah.
But he would go out and still be running at the best lap time on essentially maybe the wrong tyre at the time. He just found dry patches in the track where nobody else could.
And that first lap, incredible.
It was. Yeah, Seb and Lewis are up there. But it was dominant for Toro Rosso too. It just worked for Seb on that day. I think everything fell into place and was still a very strong performance. Lewis was a superb performance, made those intermediates one. Jackie Stewart, I haven't seen it, so I don't know. But the 1996 Spanish Grand Prix, it is my two between Schumacher and Senna. And I think the conditions were a little bit more torrential in Spain, from memory. Oh dear.
We're going to have to push you for an answer. Time is ticking.
I'm going to go Michael Schumacher, just to vary it up. Very, very close to you there. So Stephen's gone Senna at Donington. I've gone Michael in the Spanish Grand Prix. What would your best performance in the rain be? Obviously, out of those five, you knew more about the 1968 Jackie Stewart one. I mean, in fairness, any performance and win in the rain back in those times is an incredible drive. Yeah. But obviously, getting footage of it, it's a little harder to judge on that one. And would probably be unfair to just go on information given. And Lewis and Seb's, remember watching both, and I was more impressed by the Schumacher and Ayrton's. All incredible drives, by the way. By saying I'm more impressed, it doesn't mean that, that was rubbish.
Yeah.
They were all incredible drives, but just something about the Schumacher and Senna ones had a little bit extra for me. So I'm going Schumi, because he's going to lose his most wins of all time this weekend, I'm sure. So we'll give him something for this weekend. Wow. But that's it from Jonty Stats and his question of the week. Thank you, Jonty, as always. His link to his Twitter account, as always, is in the description down below. So drop Jonty a follow. He's a very knowledgeable and passionate F1 fan. Great stat knowledge. Obviously, thankful for all these kind of stats included. But anyway, we move over to our last feature, the podcast. So you could tell it was a little bit of a short one today because it wasn't, well, I don't know. By the time we finished on Stephen's Rumours, it might turn into a longer one because I suppose that's
you may want to go grab a drink. If you're hungry, maybe just grab a snack. Because for the next 2 hours, we will be...
We are locked in! But yes, Stephen, I hand you...
Stephen's Rumours! Everyone knows about them.
Yeah.
I'm just going to be talking about news that's already come out. It's not really rumours.
No.
Obviously, spoke about Mazepin to Haas last week.
Yep.
Being confirmed on French TV, but, probably going to happen, really, because of the money and Haas need it. But this week, it's Checo to Williams and George to nowhere.
What?
To nowhere.
No. Well, okay, so this is... First of all, we have to say, this is all rumours and confirmed. And for me, F1 transfer rumours have basically become like Premier League football rumours.
Yes.
And basically, like, they go, Lionel Messi to Manchester United. Oh, look at that article. Lionel Messi was spotted at Manchester United in 2011 when they played them in the Champions League. That'll be like the length that they probably actually wouldn't even go to that detail. They'll just be like, Lionel Messi says that Man United is a good football club.
Yeah,
that'll be it.
That's
so basically,
kind of what it is. Is basically Checo has a massive financial backing. He is one of the big paid drivers in the driver lineups. He is actually one of the big paid drivers, and obviously Williams' new owners want to inject a bit of cash into the program, and Checo's like a perfect fit for them. So that's the extent of the rumor. Whether it will come true or not, obviously if George does lose his seat, and then Toto will just bring him in as a reserve driver, be like an Ocon. last year, where he just stands around in the garage and then probably gets a seat next the following year.
At Aston Martin.
Probably.
And be another one of Mercedes junior drivers who doesn't actually make it to Mercedes, and Valtteri Bottas will still remain the only Mercedes kind of junior graduate.
We joked about it a few weeks back when we were looking at, I think, the Mercedes seat, and I think Max going there. I can't remember, but we joked about Toto not really guaranteeing Mercedes youngsters into the program.
But it might genuinely be a thing.
Yeah.
Although, obviously, Williams isn't that. But we all thought that George Russell wasn't maybe promoted this season to Valtteri Bottas is because Williams were like putting their foot down. No, we have a 3-year contract for George. He's not going to leave. But if he leaves here...
Well, because that was mainly driven by Claire.
Potential, yeah, exactly.
So obviously with the new owners who want money.
And George has had a very good season still, but he hasn't had... It's difficult because we always bring this up. It is difficult to stand out in a bad car. And I think George kind of, other than obviously standout qualifying performances in the race, some hasn't been his fault with Giovinazzi and Kimi Räikkönen. And Alfa Romeo isn't George's favourite team this year in terms of Spa and obviously last time out the Nürburgring. But there have been other times where he's been in good qualifying positions and haven't really...
Bad start, and then that's the race.
Yeah, and then he was fighting, I think maybe at Sochi with Albon and Norris at the back, and he locked up. You know, little... It's difficult for him because he has a car that he can't really compete in.
Mm.
But it hasn't been as standout, I would say, as his first season. And the new owners don't care. They'll look at Checo, and Checo is a better driver than George Russell as things currently stand.
They're going to be looking at the money.
Yeah.
Because if you're not scoring points, then, you know, the next thing is money. So, yeah. He's basically just as good as Latifi at the moment. They don't really care about the head-to-head record, you know. Latifi's even come closer to points. So, yeah.
Poor George.
There we go.
Poor George. I hope it doesn't happen because he is one of the most exciting young talents in the sport right now. And, you know, in a situation that we see a talent like George Russell not on the grid and someone like Latifi and Mazepin come in, then you start going, have we got things right here, lads?
Yeah.
That would be awkward. But I suppose that's it on the George one. So the other one is what we kind of mentioned last week with Albon and Tsunoda in terms of...
Yuki. He got his feet... His feet sitting.
He got his feet sitting. Oh, there you go, Yuki. Sit your feet. Okay.
He got his seat fitting in an AlphaTauri because he's going to be doing some testing. I believe it's after the Grand Prix in Algarve.
Nice.
Yeah. So there we go. It's not going to be an FP1, but he's going to do a few laps after the Grand Prix. So.
If Yuki gets the points, he will be driving for AlphaTauri next season.
Yeah, it seems to just be getting closer and closer.
And that does mean that there is a real threat that, well, it feels Daniel Kvyat won't be in F1.
Yep.
But there is a real threat that Alexander Albon also might not be in F1 next season if his performances don't improve. Because it feels like, the way rumours are suggesting, it would be Nico Hülkenberg to go in rather than Checo.
Yeah. It's really weird thinking back to those 2018, those three guys that come up, Lando, George and Albon, and 3 years later, two of them may lose their seat in F1.
It's crazy. Crazy. I mean, yeah, they were a talented trio who came up, and I wouldn't have seen it kind of go so badly for them so wrong. But it's happened before. You've lost the likes of Pascal Wehrlein going in the sport. Esteban Ocon obviously fell out of a seat, at Force India. Top guys, it's happened before. So should we be necessarily surprised now that Williams aren't Williams and that they're under new management, that a Force India / Lance Stroll coming into it racing point situation comes about, and George gets ousted for the money seat, which before was Lance Stroll and this time is Sergio Perez? Should we be surprised?
There we go.
That's probably the rumours on that front. But a little bit looking ahead to the 2021 calendar.
Yes. So basically, it looks like Australia is going to be the season opener. I know there was a leaked calendar, which kind of threw everything about, and I think I had Australia down in October. But I think Australia is confirmed for March, so it's presumed as the season opener for the 2021 calendar. Saudi Arabia is rumoured. I think that's like towards the end of the calendar. Well, that was on the leak one.
It would make sense to do it before Abu Dhabi.
Yeah. But Bahrain's quite near the beginning, isn't it?
And with all the Brazil drama, might not see Interlagos.
Yes.
And you might see no Brazilian GP and the Saudi Arabian GP coming and replace Brazil. Which I think would go down very unpopular in the F1 community. I mean, I know what one I would go, and that's not even getting into the ethical rights of Saudi Arabia and the kind of recent messages that F1 have been trying to put forward as an inclusive sport. I can see the calendar pretty much being the same.
Yeah, the Dutch Grand Prix likely, because I presume they'll get some fans in, and obviously Vietnam will make its return, making that shocking breaking news, I think last week, that the Vietnam Grand Prix will not happen in 2020.
Oh my God, who saw that one coming?
It took the world by storm,
It did, even though the calendar was already confirmed.
I was in tears.
So why did they do that? Surely everyone just assumed that had happened when they released the rest of the 2020 season calendar. Why did they feel like they had to go, Hanoi will not be on the 2020 calendar? We know. We've seen the calendar. We know you're not here, Hanoi. You can be next year.
Guys, we're not going to be here.
Okay. See you in 2021. Don't worry about it. It's okay, Hanoi. But we're new. Yes, you're still relevant. Don't worry. Go with Zone 4. You can have your time.
Yeah.
But we want the Nürburgring and Imola and Mugello and Portimao excitement. You're not getting it. Not getting it. You don't have that much about it, especially if you go in the F1 game. It's just basically don't crash into the wall.
You could have carnage. Could be like a Mugello carnage race.
Yeah, I guess so. Especially that kind of S section where basically
those first 4 corners could get a bit messy.
Yeah, very true, very true. It's definitely going to be a difficult one, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's probably it for the F1 podcast.
Yeah. That's
F1 calendar, F1 podcast. I can't really think of... We breezed through these subjects this week. I just think there probably hasn't been much discussion about it yet.
No.
Next week there'll probably be deep discussion about the race and maybe stories developed a little bit more. It's always a bit, you can't really go into too much detail when it's like rumoured.
Yeah.
If it's like confirmed, like George Russell's been ousted from Williams, then you can talk about it.
That's a whole different subject.
A little bit more. But yeah, it's confirmed. But anyway, we hope you've enjoyed it. We're waffling now, as we often tend to do here on the F1 podcast. Hope you've enjoyed the episode, guys. It's been a good one. Lots of kind of interesting moves. The driver market is going around, and I'd rather F1 just kind of, the teams get on with it, announce it, don't muck around. Don't get these rumours. Just get the job done. Get rid of the drivers and get in the drivers that you want and get it done.
But that's what the winter break's for.
No, get it out of the way with it. Get it done. But anyway, we're probably just waffling on as we usually tend to do at this aspect. So leave your thoughts, comments down below on everything. And we'll look forward to hearing them. Jonty's question. great question. So make sure you kind of answer that. What is your, out of those 5, which was the best out of those 5 as the best wet weather races of all time?
Oh, yeah.
Big one. And if you're new around here, well, you haven't done so already, Stephen, what can they do?
You can like, subscribe, and ding that bell.
Ding it. But that's it from us today, guys. So for now, UF1 fans, keep racing.